My gut feeling is this is the tip of the iceberg.
You want to know what we care about? We care about the truth.
Weeknights at 11 on Tampa Bay 44.
The Simpsonian, where memorable Simpsons moments come to life. The Simpsons.
Weeknights beginning at 8 on Tampa Bay 44.
Can AI help us develop a solution?
Now, the moments that matter most here at home and around the world. A deeper dive into the biggest stories impacting you and your family.
How can I use AI to be better at my job and stand out at my job?
Your wallet and your money.
Well, I think we'll take these loans to our graves, unfortunately.
The positive and the inspirational.
I decided, you know what, if I can't find any, I wanted to create my own.
I'm Tom Hansen. Your news starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lisa Hughes. President Biden is planning to visit Florida this weekend to survey the damage from Hurricane Idalia. Today, he approved a federal disaster declaration to help in the recovery. That disaster declaration will make federal money available for people affected by the storm in Citrus, Dixie, Hamilton, Lafayette, Levy, Suwannee, and Taylor counties. The Florida Medical Examiner's Office is now attributing 1 death in the state to the storm, and that could change. Checks are underway right now in areas hit by high water in the storm.
There has been significant damage, particularly along Florida's Big Bend, but the community is resilient, and we are going to work hard to make sure people get what they need.
Power crews are making progress. That's the good news, but there are still tens of thousands of outages. The damage is not as widespread as what Florida saw with Hurricane Ida, but some people are finding heartbreaking losses.
Overwhelmed, I would say, would be really the only kind of way to describe it. It's just ruined. I mean, everything in there is kind of lost, and you don't know where to start.
Aid organizations from across Florida are now rallying to help the victims of Idalia. Casey Albritton shows us the role that Feeding Tampa Bay and its volunteers will play in the days and weeks to come.
If there is a silver lining in storms, is that we see the generosity and compassion of our communities come alive.
President of Feeding Tampa Bay, Thomas Mance, says his organization is working around the clock to bring meals to families impacted by Hurricane Idalia.
You know, the response after really starts with the response before. So we had trucks on the road Monday, Tuesday, making sure that there was food in areas we thought were most likely to be impacted.
His volunteers are now identifying the hardest hit areas after the storm.
Areas that have particularly been hit by flooding and other wind damage that would cause power outage or reasons for folks to not have food.
He says the priority is bringing people water and what the organization calls MREs.
To the uninitiated are meals ready to eat, but they're easily consumable and a family can make sure that they get nourishment without power.
Mance says his organization has up to 65 trucks spread out all over the Gulf Coast of Florida.
We normally rely on donated food, but in a crisis we go out and we mass buy so we can get items. And then the generosity of the community is starting to show up. We've seen some of our larger retail donors and manufacturers start to donate food to us as well.
Mance says people who need to rebuild their homes and lives shouldn't have to worry about their next meal.
There's no greater fear that a parent has, or someone who's taking care of a grandparent. There's no greater fear that they have than being able to feed their families.
Right now, the organization is collecting monetary donations from the community.
It's not only the value of the meal, it's the psychological comfort from knowing that you can take care of your family.
In Tampa, Casey Albritton, Tampa Bay Now News.
2 students were stabbed at Countryside High School in Clearwater today. Police say both are hospitalized in stable condition and that a suspect's in custody. The other students were held in class because parts of the school were a crime scene, but those students were dismissed on time. The job market in Florida, it remains strong. First-time unemployment claims dropped last week to a little more than 5,100. This is the 4th week in a row that we've seen a decline. The July unemployment rate was 2.7%. We will learn the August rate in just a couple of weeks. Well, over the last year, you may have noticed there has been a major spotlight on artificial intelligence and an awful lot of debate. One USF student took it upon himself to see just how this emerging tech is transforming the Bay region and its workforce. And Andrea Alvarez shows us what he's learned.
MBA student Sean Schrader is taking his final year on campus seriously. He's using his business degree to gain personal perspective on how AI could impact the future of the Tampa Bay region.
I hear from people that say, well, you look a few years from now, a lot of the degrees, a lot of the jobs that are available right now, that's all going to change.
He embarked on a unique journey, touring industries right here in the Bay Area to understand their AI aspirations in the workplace.
Florida Aquarium, the Tampa Theater, the Floridian Palace for more of a hospitality aspect, PSCU from a financial industry, and the Tampa Laundry Company.
His curiosity wasn't just academic, though. After hearing the AI buzz, he wanted to find out for himself how it will revolutionize the way we work and live. Over the past month, Sean visited the cornerstone industries that define our region.
Efficiency. That is how every single group is planning to use it. Looking not to replace all their staff, but rather use AI as a supplemental tool in some of their operations.
He says it's essential we balance AI's efficiencies with the livelihoods of our community. It's not just about tech, it's about people.
Especially how they're impacting this community specifically, which is huge. I mean, all eyes are always on Tampa Bay.
And that the future is brimming with possibilities. He says Tampa Bay can look forward to this new era with both anticipation and preparedness.
You know, the jobs might change. However, I don't think the jobs will be reduced.
I'm Andrea Alvarez reporting Tampa Bay Now News.
Well, we've been taking a look outside. We saw a beautiful picture right there. Eric joins us now. And Eric, it sounds like it's going to be not clear sailing yet.
Well, one more day of some unsettled conditions in the wake of Idalia as it makes its way farther offshore. And that system weakening and really shredded apart over the last 24 hours. Franklin farther to the east. A couple more waves. They're out in the Atlantic behind it. None of these are in any imminent risk of striking the lower 48. It is the peak season, though, so we'll keep a close eye on the tropics here over the next several weeks. You know how it goes at this point in the year. Some scattered downpours and showers are likely as we head throughout the day on Friday, kicking off the long holiday weekend. That said, we should see some improving weather as the weekend goes on. A slight chance of a passing shower storm on Saturday. It looks much drier as we head into Sunday and Monday. Overnight lows, they're down in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. It's warm, it's muggy. And tomorrow, really, it's kind of a sporadic shower or downpour or thunderstorm throughout the day. No one part of the day is drier than another. Taking a look at the highs, ranging from the middle 80s to the north to the low 90s off to the south of the Tampa area. And then things improve as we head toward Labor Day. Saturday has that slight chance of an afternoon storm. Sunday looks mostly sunny, as does Monday. So if you're making some outdoor plans, a little barbecue, pool, or boating time, that's where we start to see a less unsettled stretch developing here. So overall, looks like a good Labor Day forecast. We'll take a look at the next 7 coming up.
Tonight, we're taking a look at the future of work, from automation to artificial intelligence. There's no denying the job market in the United States is changing as companies adapt to new and powerful technology. In fact, many people in the workforce fear that AI could lead to millions of job cuts down the road. And Trace and Bragg joins me now with a closer look at how experts believe AI will impact our workforce. And Trace, the question is, who, if anyone, needs to be worried about their jobs?
Well, that's so right, Tom. And experts believe the jobs that will most be affected or changed by AI are white-collar jobs like lawyers, accountants, and consultants. But an expert I spoke to says there is no need to panic because AI will also create new jobs. And he says the time to start preparing yourself for the future is now.
Such a fascinating and timely topic, Trayson. Thank you for that interview. All right, next on Now, can you land your next job through a dating app? After the break, we talk to the experts, and their answer might surprise you. That's next.
Today. Weekends at 8 on Tampa Bay 44.
From the Great Resignation to a white-hot labor market, the latest jobs numbers show our workforce might be returning to how it was before the pandemic began. But many who are still on the job hunt are trading sites like LinkedIn and ZipRecruiter for apps like Tinder and Hinge for their next potential job. So could this be the new frontier for job searching? Earlier, we spoke to an expert to find out. And more headlines from across the country and the world. That's after the break.
Tonight's weather is brought to you by West Shore Home. Baths, windows, and doors for your home.
Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Derek Fisher. Of course, the big discussion over the last week or so has been the tropics. They are still busy, but they're also moving away from Florida. What's left of Idalia kind of getting sheared apart there off the coast of the mid-Atlantic. We have Franklin, now north and east of Bermuda. There's Jose, which is kind of a waste of a name. That storm's going nowhere and dissipating in the next couple days, and it's not much. A few more waves to watch, but they're all well out into the Atlantic and generally tracking out into the Atlantic. If there's anything going to be threatening the lower 48, it's probably at least a week out, so there's a time to watch any of those waves. We are in peak season, though, so you'd expect over the next few weeks we'll continue to be talking about the tropics. And in the wake of Idalia, we still have unsettled weather into the day tomorrow. Some scattered showers, downpours, and thunderstorms likely. But we'll see improving weather as we get into the weekend. The wind starts to shift more northeasterly instead of southwesterly. That will give us some drier air, some more sunshine, and again, improving weather heading into the Labor Day weekend. Tonight, we'll see temperatures in the upper 70s, still very warm and humid outside, and still a chance for a passing downpour or storm. And tomorrow, same idea. One more very unsettled day before we start to see a little shift. Tomorrow's wind is light and out of the southwest, and our high temperatures are mostly in the upper 80s. And that's how we sail into the holiday weekend. But Saturday brings just an isolated chance of a pop-up shower storm. Most of the day looks dry. It certainly looks drier as we move into Sunday and Monday. The rain chances are much more minimal, so we should be in excellent shape there. If you want to plan a little barbecue or some time out in the boat or by the pool, the weather looks like it's going to cooperate. Temperature-wise, as things dry out, we see a little bit of a bump back up into the 90s, moving toward Monday and Tuesday next week. September is here. So how does it look on the next 7 days? New month for us. And wouldn't you believe it? Looks like it'll probably be a warmer than average month again here in Florida. Low 90s on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, although a good 4-day stretch there with very small rain chances and drier weather make its way on in. A little relief after the busy tropics.
Let's get it on! Oh my! Beautiful neck breaker right to the purple man.
Wow Wrestling, Saturday night at 11 on Tampa Bay 44.
Here are your top headlines. The Biden administration will provide federal funding to Florida. He declared a major disaster declaration for the state at FEMA headquarters today. This comes as many people returned home after Idalia slammed ashore Wednesday morning. The now tropical storm is barreling through the Carolinas. Former President Donald Trump pleaded not guilty in the Georgia election subversion case. He entered the formal plea through court filings instead of being arraigned in person. This marks the 4th time Mr. Trump has pleaded not guilty to criminal charges since leaving the White House. So far, there's no official date set for the trial. And one of the Proud Boys leaders, Joe Biggs, has been sentenced to 17 years in prison. He led the march to the U.S. Capitol during the January 6th Capitol riots. This is the second longest sentence for a convicted Jan 6 rioter. All right, still to come, believe it or not, a robot could be changing your tires sooner than you think. How artificial intelligence is shaking up the auto industry.
Tampa Bay Now News at 10 is brought to you by the law offices of Catania and Catania.
The future of artificial intelligence in the auto industry.
The idea was create a tool that can help supplement what the technicians are working with today.
Implementing AI in the classroom.
For us, it's thinking about what do our kids need to know and do to be ready for their futures.
Saving money at the gas pump.
I do think that the trend will remain downwards for the potential of the next few weeks.
And inspiring Black girls to love their self-image.
Just supporting my mission to raise the next generation of clearly confident girls.
As new tech is being introduced in a growing number of industries, the next time you need a tire change, you may find a robot working on your vehicle. But as Trayson Bragg explains, tire technicians shouldn't be worried just yet. So interesting. Trayson, thank you. Now some of the moments that matter most in your community and your neighborhood. One of the hottest topics right now is the emergence of artificial intelligence and its use in schools. It's creating opportunities, risks, and questions about its impact on creativity and critical thinking. While some schools are banning the use of AI in classrooms, one school district in Gwinnett County, Georgia, went all in, launching a curriculum that brings the technology into classrooms, starting all the way in kindergarten. All right, next on Now, filling up your gas tank could soon get cheaper. What you can expect at the pump this Labor Day weekend. Next.
Tampa Bay Now News at 10 is brought to you by the law offices of Catania and Catania.
Over to your health now. The first over-the-counter drug used to reverse opioid overdoses is expected in retail stores and online as soon as next week, according to its manufacturer. The drug naloxone, known by the brand name Narcan, will be sold in Walgreens, Rite Aid, Walmart, and CVS around the country. Narcan is a nasal spray and can revive a person from an overdose in minutes. The spray has a suggested retail price of $44.99 per carton of 2 doses. Another nasal spray was approved by the FDA in July. It will sell for $36. All right, over to your money now. Starting in October, the bill is due again for federal student loan borrowers, but interest charges will resume tomorrow. 45 million Americans have student loan debt totaling $1.7 trillion. The Biden administration tried to deliver up to $20,000 of relief to millions of borrowers, but in June, the Supreme Court blocked the program with a 6-3 decision. The president's new SAVE plan could offer borrowers some relief.
People look at how much they owe, they get discouraged, and they just get paralyzed. If you are not sure you have enough money, call your loan servicer. Figure out the right payment plan for you and take action.
Under the president's SAVE plan, which will be fully implemented by next summer, interest will not accumulate as long as borrowers make their monthly payments. Those will be based on income and family size. More than 1 million low-income borrowers will qualify for a $0 monthly payment. And with Labor Day weekend quickly approaching, millions of Americans are leaving town for one last trip before summer ends. With most vacationers hitting the roads, gas prices are ticking up in some areas around the country, with the national average about 8 cents higher than a month ago. But experts say one thing you can do is shop around. Costco, Sam's Club, and other wholesale stores offer discounted gas, and apps like Gas Buddy, AAA Mobile, and Google Maps list prices at stations in your area. Really important to keep in mind. All right, next on Now, making your dreams come true.
I decided, you know what, if I can't find any, I wanted to create my own.
How this girl is helping inspire more black girls to be confident in themselves. That's next.
Tampa Bay Now News at 10 is brought to you by the law offices of Catania and Catania. The King of Queens, weeknights at 5 on Tampa Bay 44.
Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Derek Fisher. Of course, the big discussion over the last week or so has been the tropics. They are still busy, but they're also moving away from Florida. What's left of Idalia kind of getting sheared apart there off the coast of the mid-Atlantic. We have Franklin, now north and east of Bermuda. There's Jose, which is kind of a waste of a name. That storm's going nowhere and dissipating in the next couple days, and it's not much. A few more waves to watch, but they're all well out into the Atlantic and generally tracking out into the Atlantic. If there's anything going to be threatening the lower 48, it's probably at least a week out, so there's a time to watch any of those waves. We are in peak season, though, so you'd expect over the next few weeks we'll continue to be talking about the tropics. And in the wake of Idalia, we still have unsettled weather into the day tomorrow. Some scattered showers, downpours, and thunderstorms likely. But we'll see improving weather as we get into the weekend. The wind starts to shift more northeasterly instead of southwesterly. That will give us some drier air, some more sunshine, and again, improving weather heading into the Labor Day weekend. Tonight, we'll see temperatures in the upper 70s, still very warm and humid outside, and still a chance for a passing downpour or storm. And tomorrow, same idea. One more very unsettled day before we start to see a little shift. Tomorrow's wind is light and out of the southwest, and our high temperatures are mostly in the upper 80s, and that's how we sail into the holiday weekend. But Saturday brings just an isolated chance of a pop-up shower storm. Most of the day looks dry. It certainly looks drier as we move into Sunday and Monday. The rain chances are much more minimal, so we should be in excellent shape there. If you want to plan a little barbecue or some time out in the boat or by the pool, the weather looks like it's going to cooperate. Temperature-wise, as things dry out, we see a little bit of a bump back up into the 90s, moving toward Monday and Tuesday next week. September is here. So how does it look on the next 7 days? New month for us. And wouldn't you believe it? Looks like it'll probably be a warmer than average month again here in Florida. Low 90s on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, although a good 4-day stretch there with very small rain chances and drier weather make its way on in. A little relief after the busy tropics.
And finally, here on this Thursday night, to Hope Now. An 11-year-old girl in Atlanta is taking the business world by storm with her own line of black and brown girl dolls. Trazen Bragg shares her story. Just goes to show you are never too young to be a trailblazer. Trayson, thank you. And before we go, we have some news of our own to share with you. Tonight is our last show. We want to thank you, the audience, for joining us every night to deliver you the news. It's been an honor and a privilege to bring you the biggest stories. So with that, for the final time, thank you so much for joining us. Have a good night.
You never know when you'll encounter a crime, so be alert and hit record.
iCrime, late nights at 1 on Tampa Bay 44.